Welcome to the Cash Flow Empire, everybody, where we love to be extremely transparent. Our goal here is to really bring a lot of value to the community and to educate as much as possible and just to give the really dirty, ugly truth about multifamily investing. I know there's a lot of people who like to pitch you the pretty side of it, but we like to bring operators and experienced individuals who are able to tell you the truth about it. That's something that we don't really talk about. So today we have Melvin and Jackie. Melvin and Jackie are actually really, really great friends of ours. We've known them. We've known them on a personal level. We actually, me and Jonathan met them at the holiday party. We happened to be eating a snack and drinking a cocktail right next to each other, and we just turn around and say, "Hey, how's it going?" And the rest was history.
Yeah.
But Melvin, Jackie, welcome to the show today. Where are you guys from? For those of you for everybody that doesn't know you or that do know you, let's see who Melvin and Jackie are.
Hey, Sergio, a pleasure, man, as always. Appreciate it. And good to see you all again. And happy to be here to kind of share our story. So, just to kind of jump in. So, Melvin and Jacqueline Landry, we live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the Steel City. So, if there's any Steelers fans, hello. We, you know, we're happy here to kind of share our journey. And, we just want to kind of speak to the notion of, hey, real estate being a savior for us, truly a savior for us. So, I'll just briefly kind of touch base on it. We've been living in Pittsburgh 2 years. I've been invested in Pittsburgh since 2005. Before we lived here, we lived in Dallas, Texas, and we lived in Dallas, Texas for 6 years. When we lived in Dallas, Texas, we operated a dessert franchise at the time, and we opened that in what, 2015?
15. Yep.
And we closed it right before COVID. It was a new concept to Texas at the time. We were the first ones in DFW, and it was a grind. I'll say it was a grind to the point whereas my wife left a $200,000 a year job to start working in the franchise. She kind of had exclusive ownership of it. I was still working many jobs and still doing real estate passively on the side. And we had our young guy. He was like one. So my wife actually missed our son's first step. I remember the day. It was December 4th, 2015. She was in this business working. She worked tirelessly 70 to 80 hours a week, never collected a payroll check. Business was always in the red, right? As a startup, right, that tends to happen. But we were of the vision, and after careful and intense due diligence, that it was going to turn around after, say, a year or two. That wasn't the case. So, we got to the point where year 2, year 3, our mother-in-law, who lives nearby us in Pittsburgh now, she's now 74. She was working in the business 20 to 30 hours a week, never collected any salary. Year 3, year 4, I started working in the business, right? I already had a 9 to 5. I'm a college professor as well, teaching at 5 to 6 schools at a time. I started helping out in the business, working at many of the high-rise buildings in Dallas, working at some of the apartment complexes in Dallas, doing tenant events and doing weddings and all type of other events on weekends. So we were stretched in. I was doing that 20, 25 hours a week in addition to everything else I was doing. We still didn't make any money. So she's putting in 70, 80. My mother-in-law putting in 20 to 30. I'm putting in 20 to 30 to try to get it to turn around. Never happened. So we decided at the beginning of 2019 the bleed needed to stop. And you know what? We decided that we planned to shut it down. Now, in light of things, it's hard selling dessert, ice cream in Dallas in October, November, December, January, February. It is, right? Sales were really, really, really low, but per your concept, you still got to keep your business going and you got to keep it thriving. So, we had a plan to close and exit. I'll come to real estate and how that ties in a second. So, as you can imagine, right, I started investing in real estate in 2005. This was before me and my wife got married. And I had amassed a portfolio of like 60 plus properties. Here in Western PA, Central PA, you can buy properties pretty cheap. This is not Dallas. This is not Houston. I was buying REO properties, 25, 35,000. Of course, me working multiple jobs, right? I'm taking cash. I'm buying real estate. I'm just buying real estate. And then I got a mentor that told me, you know what, you can cash out refi and keep building your portfolio. So that's what I did. And this was passively. My foot wasn't even on the gas. I was just in neutral. My mindset was 9 to 5. My mindset was, you know, the 2 week check, right? And I was teaching. It was a passion of mine, and real estate was kind of like a passive hobby for me at the time. But I had found my niche, and I just started accumulating properties. Worked on getting a power team, right? Had a power team in place, had a realtor, contractors, and things of that nature. Stuff was going well. So when we started our business, I had 52, 53 properties, and I was buying passively, but I wasn't like I was before. Thank goodness I did that. As you could imagine, right? With the business that we had, once we got through with lawyer fees and avoiding arbitration and negotiations, we had lost over $1 million. Yeah. So I had to sell off half of my portfolio.
And actually, really, we were one step away from being homeless, to be honest with you. Had my mom not lived in the same building, that's how bad it was. We would have to borrow money to make payroll for our business. So it was really bad and very stressful, on top of just mentally and physically exhausted from working the 80+ hours in the store. So the picture was grim. And we were like, there's got to be a better way.
And mind you, I'm cash flowing $30K a month, guys, because a lot of my single family houses, I had a few duplexes, I had gotten cash. I was, and yeah, so 2019 was rough, right? As you could imagine, we were to the brim, but we had a plan to exit, and best thing we ever did, to be honest with you. Sold off my portfolio while, you'd be like, man, I built it up and now I got to sell it off. One thing to note, I had garnered a system. I had a mentor, right? So I looked past it, and my demeanor is like, okay, look, real estate is up and down, right? I mean, our business was down. We're trying to pick it up, but I always knew in the back of my mind, look, I've accumulated these 60 properties in 7, 8 years, 10% passively, didn't even put my foot on the gas, and I was still able to kind of keep things flowing. I always felt that I would be able to turn it around once we closed the business and really take off running. And real estate was at the forefront of that. So picture the day, guys. It's December 20th, 2019. The last day. I'm working uptown Dallas at a country club doing a wedding, 400 people. My wife's working in the store with one person. You go in our back inventory room, everything's almost empty. The workers were asking, man, inventory is low. What's going on? And we didn't, we had to withhold. We had to just kind of keep going until the end. And then at the last day, hey guys, we're shutting it down. So as you could imagine, that came with some open eyes from a lot of the staff. So that next day we got movers, 4:30 in the morning, right? We moved everything out of the store, took everything to storage. As you could imagine, you had an upset landlord, right? Very upset, right? So with that, of course, we had to retain legal counsel, and we figured out a way. If you could imagine, guys, $10,000 a month in a Class A property, that's where we were, and we exited at year 4. So you do the math: 12 times 6, $10,000 a month. That's what we were on the hook for, and we were able to settle amicably for under $100,000. So that makes me smile because I'm a procurement guy, and I love negotiations. I love a win-win for both parties. But that was one where I felt we really won, right? Because they could have sued us for 600 plus, etc. So next was the franchisor. So we avoided arbitration. We ended up settling, and we departed. Maybe not friends, but we departed and we kept it moving. So fast forward to 12, 13 months ago, decided to go to a multifamily seminar. So, here I go. I left Dallas, June 2021. I ended up going back to Dallas. So do you want to kind of share kind of what took off from there?
Yeah, well, let's take a pause and let's see if Sergio has some questions.
Yeah, any questions? The journey.
My husband likes to talk, so you can tell he's not,
y'all are doing
afraid
good
of the camera. So he just takes the mic and he'll take over for 45 minutes. It's okay.
I won't do that.
I love it. I love to hang out, and I love to just be around people that are able to go through adversity like that. That's some serious business. Like I couldn't picture myself going through that, So first things first, I tip my hat to you. I tip my hat to you for going through that adversity. It looks like you guys took it like a champ. You know, you took it to the chin, and just like you said, we kept it moving. And I don't think a lot of people would have, the average human being wouldn't have been able to handle that. You know, so I do want to tip my hat to y'all, and if we can just show some love in the chat, guys, because you know, that's amazing. You know, to be able to go through something like that, kind of, you know, give it all you got, and just, you know, we all try to, you know, in this country, we all try to do something with our lives and be positive, and, you know, our intentions are pure. We're just trying to make it, you know, and sometimes things don't go as planned, but you know, it's just life throws stuff at you, and I guess you really get to see who you really are after, you know, how you react to it. So I love the story. It's unfortunate that it happened to you guys, because y'all are amazing people.
Yeah,
But
and
I
Sergio,
also-
I'll tell you what, it wasn't easy for me, right? Being the face of the business. Melvin was the one who kind of kept me grounded, right? As you can imagine, I was there for 80 hours for the full 4 years. So it was a bit hard for me to get out of the ditch mentally as well as physically, right? Because it was very hard on your body, believe it or not. The kind of business that we own. So, you know, that's how one of the ways that Melvin and I work together really well is he's always very positive. Sometimes I'm not. So he was able to kind of uplift me and say, hey, this is going to be okay. And let's make a plan to get out of this and exceed from that and make up the $1 million and more by, you know, kicking up his single family portfolio and, you know, taking the game up to the next level.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I love your story, because it's a story of adversity and how you overcome those challenges. You know, I mean, there was just obstacle after obstacle after obstacle, and you could have just gave up and just kind of taken the easy way out, but you guys knew that there was something more. And what I loved about you two is that you stayed together. So I mean, I can tell that you guys balance each other out, right? And so what was your mindset going through the pivotal point when you said, we have to do this in order to get to this, which is multifamily now? What was your mindset going through that in your plan?
Man.
Mine was like, how the hell are we going to do it? I'll be honest, right? So again, I'm always the one sort of looking more negatively, and my husband's like, look, lift your head up, and we're gonna do this, and this is the plan that we're gonna take. And I went back to corporate America for a 40% pay cut because now I had a kid. Now we had a kid, right, together, so I couldn't travel and be on the road. So I think it was just really, you know, making a plan and uplifting ourselves, knowing that we can get out of where we are. And then when we actually found multifamily about a year ago, my husband looked at me in October of last year and said, honey, you need to quit your job.
Yeah.
And I was like, quit my job? What am I going to quit my job for?
Yeah.
I'm making, you know, $145,000 a year. And he was like, look, if we're going to do multifamily, we got to do this right. And I need you 100% on board.
Yep. That was to answer your question, Shirley, I mean, it didn't go without saying in terms of, you got that pit in your stomach, you're kind of losing your pride.
Oh, yes.
I'm just like, damn, like, man, we're the face of this business. Everybody, people coming from Wally and everywhere else in DFW to come to our store. Maybe some of you on this webinar have been to our store. But I mean, it's a gelato franchise, and I'll just leave it at that for NDA purposes, okay? But I'll say this: it was it didn't come with some battles, right? Because I'm thinking in my mind, like, okay, man, the numbers are red, and we grow it. Can we get a few more locations, right? Cement our legacy here in DFW, and it's going to turn around. And once I realized, well, dang, 140 hours of zero pay. And I teach econ. It's just like, nah, let's be real, right? So it's just like, I'm online with you. We need to stick to the plan. I'm with you. Let's be prepared for the outcome. I'm in negotiations. So I'm kind of like, we're gonna figure a way. And that's always has always kind of been my mindset. I'm
Right.
always kind of thinking in the back, and I hadn't even thought about multifamily when we were going through this fiasco in 2019. I didn't know what I didn't know, right? So it's just like we're gonna figure out, we're gonna come out on top, and I'm gonna try to put
Yeah.
some of my procurement skills to work. And believe it or not, the toughest negotiation wasn't even with the landlord; it was with our franchisor.
Oh, wow.
Several other stores that closed in the ecosystem, and let me tell you, it wasn't pretty for others.
Mhm.
We made out okay, which is a blessing, right? So you just kind of you count your blessings and you keep it moving, and bam, we found multifamily, and it's been glory days ever since. So we're thriving, we're meeting new people, right? Every day is a new trajectory. We're learning. I'm an
Yes.
educator, professor, and I'm a sponge for learning in this business. You can never not keep learning. And I always tell my wife, look, let's try to get 1% better every day. We set KPIs now, right? And we try to stick to it. My office is in
With
here.
the KPI. Maybe the audience doesn't
Key
know.
performance indicator, right? I got KPIs in my house for multifamily. I got KPIs for my 9 to 5. Hopefully,
That's right.
only for maybe a few more years left before I'm done. But yeah, so
No, I love it. And I love what Melissa just mentioned, that you took the leap of faith.
yeah.
You knew that there had to be something else and you figured it out. Being an entrepreneur is about critical thinking, thinking on your feet and figuring stuff out.
Yeah.
Right.
And getting a coach.
Exactly. And thank you for mentioning that, because I want you to talk to us about what is the importance about getting a mentor and a coach in this industry and as an entrepreneur overall.
Well, look, for all you on the phone that don't know anything about multifamily, you don't have to get a coach because we got a coach. Okay. So that's a nice thing about this, is that you don't need to educate yourself. And to put that into perspective, we spent over $100,000 in education last year.
Last year, yeah.
So you don't have to do that. You can put your money in investment with us or somebody that you know, like, and trust, which are the 3 things that you should look for in every investor that you put your money with. And you don't have to invest that $100,000 in education, because we will educate you. And if you know us and you spend time with us and you like us, eventually you'll start to trust us. Then you just saved $100,000 in education as well as time.
Yeah. I don't, no regrets. No regrets on the education. I'm glad I decided to take the plunge. I'm glad I convinced my wife, like, this is what we need to do. When I started single family way back when, I got a mentor, I got a coach, I joined the education program, and bam, working 5 jobs, I still had 60 units, portfolio cash flowing pretty heavily, was going well. So, I 100% agree is the right thing to do, to get mentorship, get education, see what the other ballers are doing, like Sergio and and Jonathan
yet,
and
man.
others on
Not yet.
on this webinar. And the proximity is a blessing.
It's key.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And so guys, I'd like to talk a little bit about mindset and my mindset.
Love it.
So my husband's kind of been there since 2005 and even before that, right? He's always diversified his jobs. He worked at Walmart. He was a professor. He was running track. He was doing all this stuff. So he always was a diversified kind of guy. But me, on the other hand, I grew up single mom that said, go get an education, go get a good job, and save for retirement.
Yeah.
So it was really hard for me to let go of that 9 to 5 just a few months ago, right? October 28th, not 31st, 28th was my last day. And so one of the things that we did right after October 28th is we went to a mastermind event. And I think this was my pivotal point in starting to change my mindset. So we went to a Brad Sumrock and a Jesse Itzler experience. So it was a camping trip in Atlanta. And to cut the story down a little bit, it was truly camping, not glamping, guys. It was tents. It was a whole host of tents. I don't know, there was maybe 50 or so tents. And my husband looked at me and said, "Are we really going to sleep in that?"
I've
So
never
anyways.
camped in my life, so I'm like, what the hell are we doing? So, but yeah.
So we put our stuff down. We reported to the mess hall. We learned about hot and cold, and we went into an ice plunge. After that, I would have never thought in my mind that I could spend 2 minutes in an ice bath, let alone my husband too. I thought he wasn't going to be able to do it.
I didn't think I was gonna make it, but I made it, guys. Ooh,
But,
that was
yeah,
rough.
but people will say, so what about an ice bath? Like, what do you mean that changed your life? What do you mean that changed your mindset? Because if you put your mind to anything, you can accomplish anything.
Yep.
And you can accomplish it and even more.
Yep.
So that was the pivotal point for me saying, wow, man, I can do this. I didn't even know I think I could.
Yeah.
And the whole weekend was surrounded with mind challenges, climbing walls, walking, running, doing whatever you can do from a physical standpoint. And the quality of the people that were around us that weekend, you were not going to fail, even if you wanted to. You say, oh, I give up after a minute in the ice bath. Oh, no, you weren't, because you had a whole 170 people or 125 people that were around you, rooting you on with the same mindset. So mindset and the proximity of the people that hang around you are critical to you achieving your goals and even beyond your goals.
Yep.
I love it. And this is what I love about this community. And I think the same people, the same 53, we usually average about 60 every Tuesday night, right? And we're growing. That, a lot of these people are new to this community, to these environments, and it's kind of crazy to say. Like, I got Melvin on Melvin on Facebook, and Melvin's amazing. He's always showing love to my posts, always commenting, always hearting it. And man, guys, if you really think about it, I don't even have friends. Like, I don't have a lot of friends that still show love like the community that I'm in now. Like, a lot of the people that I grew up with they don't even tell me congratulations for what I'm doing. They don't even, I'm posting the podcast. There's probably one person, and it's Deanna. Deanna's the only one that comes that I'm posting my invites, and she comes and she's showing up. She wants to learn, and she likes to be in this environment, right? But it's just amazing to be able to come to these environments and this proximity every Tuesday night. And even if it ain't every Tuesday, like at these events that are live, like these are the people that I really want to hang out with and be around. I know we hit it off right off the bat, Melvin and Jackie, when we met. Really quick though, I want to, there's some people that, like, you guys are obviously, y'all are married, y'all are in this together, y'all are doing multifamily together. How is that? How's that experience of kind of tag teaming? I know me and Melvin a while back, we scheduled a meeting, and then Jackie's like, all right, I gotta go to another meeting. And I think you were doing some other mastermind while me and Melvin were on a call together, and y'all were just kind of tag teaming this. How was that experience working for you guys? Like, are y'all being more productive? Are y'all getting more shit done together? Compared to a lot of us is just us alone, either the wife is into real estate, multifamily syndications, or it's just the husband, but in this case, you guys are just this power couple, just, trucking along. How is that? How's that working out?
So first, I like to say it's lonely at the top, right, Sergio? You get to know who your true friends are, right? And who's there supporting you.
For sure.
I think knowing who your friends are, you'll find that out, right? Those that are supporting you versus being envious of you. And then I think how Melvin and I, work together is I have to beat him up every once in a while, keep him in check. No, just kidding. So we work really well together. We focus on different things. So my background is in accounting and finance. So I'm kind of the underwriting person. I like numbers. I still am out there networking. I think, that's something that we both do. And Melvin's more on the investor relations side. He loves talking to anybody. I always tell him that he can, talk to a CFO or a crackhead that's trying to sell our house for a few hits. He's just one of those kind of guys, right? So he just has that blessing where he can talk to whomever, and just connect with anybody, no matter what kind of walk of life you come from. So I think, that works really well. We both work from home. Obviously, he works upstairs, I work downstairs. there's some challenges with that. We're constantly calling each other all day, and finally I got to cut him off, put my earphones on or something. So I think that's something that we're working through to make sure that we accomplish what we need to throughout the day. But that's a little bit about, you know, trying to stay in our own lane.
Yeah.
Defining roles for each other and what we're good at. And, you know, a year ago, we didn't know what we were good at. And we're still trying to figure that out. We think right now we have a good idea, but it's still not defined. So don't be afraid of maybe you not knowing what's your spouse's role and what role are you best at. You'll figure it out. It doesn't just happen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would say we balance and complement ourselves each other well. I'll be honest with you. I'll use the procurement adage here. I'm trying to continuously improve, not only in my business, but in my life. I say that, right? I take calls. I try to do 3 to 5 calls a day, right? I got a 9 to 5, so I got to answer to folks still. I'm a college professor. I teach more than one class. So I'm constantly up late. My wife gets on me about getting sleep, trying to get better of getting at least 6 to 7 hours of sleep because it's been 4 to 5, so I got to work. I mean, if I don't have my health, what good am I?
Once we have those millions coming in on a monthly basis, I need him here to enjoy it.
Yeah,
If not,
There you go.
Yeah, so
There you go.
So it's, you know, it's a constant battle for continuous improvement. I work out daily. I run. I try to take breaks and just trying to find a balance. It's tough, man, when you're working the job. And my wife calls me a Jamaican because I work multiple jobs, but it is what it is. But hopefully the goal is to minimize those jobs.
24 months.
Yeah, 24 months, minimize those jobs. You know, the cash flow will be coming in. We have our KPI goals in terms of our passive investments. We're going to keep passively investing. Going to keep, you know, in between work, I'm reaching out to brokers, and believe it or not, folks, brokers are actually returning the calls and really inquisitive about, you know, what are you trying to do? So it's you know, the tides have changed in the last 12 months. I got 2 calls from 2 different brokers today.
Good job, honey.
So it's you know, constant balance, man. So you know, I'm trying to get more sleep, trying to work out, trying to you know, my son does lacrosse, lacrosse and baseball, and I'm running him to all his practices because I'm you know, I'm coaching him. Like, I want him to be great, right? And like, son, you could be a commercial pilot, you could be a lacrosse player, and you could be a passive investor too. So that's his goal before he turns 9, and we're gonna make it happen. So yeah.
That's so awesome. I mean, I love that you guys are each other's cheerleaders.
Gotta be.
Yes, absolutely. That is one of the best characteristics that a team need to have. You just need to hype each other up and just keep moving forward with your plans. I love it. What I see here is a lot of consistency and trusting your journey, trusting the process.
Yeah.
Right. And along the way, developing yourselves and evolving, right? Because you both mentioned your superpowers, right? But then you also said, hey, we're still kind of developing that, you know, whereas a lot of people, that's the common question. Well, what is my superpower? But you have to go through situations in order to see that, right? To discover that. And I know Melvin and even Jackie, you guys are corporate, you work corporate jobs. So it's very important for me because I can relate. I work a corporate job. And so I'm trying to pave the way to transition from that. So what would be some of your points or advice for us still having a W-2 job and dreaming about transitioning over to this industry?
I would say, because I still have a W-2, I would say aligning with the plan in terms of your vision and time to exit it. And from an education standpoint, guys, let's be real. Every day you can plug in the webinar, multiple webinars a day, Sunday to Saturday. You can plug into a webinar and get education. Man, I wish I had that when I was in single family. We didn't have all that. So, I mean, the ecosystem is a beast. It's great. And there's just no excuse mindset. That's what I tell myself. You know, one book that I'm reading, if you guys want to, you know, I love Dr. Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher. He's in your face. He tells you how it is. And he's uncut. I love that type coaching. tell me how it is, in your face, uncut. Damn it, go get it done. That's the type of mentality I have, in terms of I need to go get it done. Read his book called You Owe You. You Owe You.
Yeah.
The statement is simple.
And Shirley, I think so Melvin's advice, again, always had the entrepreneur spirit, kind of is in his soul from a very young age. And me, on the other hand, had I known about passive investing and known that I want to exit corporate America before I retire or before the day I die, and have some time left to enjoy that, I would say, thinking very methodical, which is the way that I think, being a project manager and accounting, right? They think like that, is passively invest as much income as you can while you're working. You make 200,000, invest 150,000, live off that 50,000. Do that for 3 years. You do that for 3 years. That's what, 450,000. When those all turn and go full cycle, that means that, somebody buys the property, somebody, improves the property and they sell it. Guess what, guys? You just turn that 450 into what? Almost $1 million in 3 to 5 years. You do that twice, it's monopoly money. Then it starts getting fun, because you can start doing other stuff. You can diversify. Could be drinking Mai Tais in the beach, sitting in Miami. People watching, doing whatever you want to do, spending time with friends and family. But that's what I would say is, if you want to, get out of the rat race, start passively investing every little bit of income that you have. Get your money out of 401k, because it's not doing you any good, guys. 2 or 3% growth is not where it is. Apartment investing is much more stable. So that would be my advice. Had I known about multifamily and passive investing 10 years ago, I'd be set.
I think about all the jobs I've worked at over the years. I've worked a lot of jobs, guys. And you know what? We are, a year? We're in 11 deals, 2 active and 9 passive. The reason why, 2 active and 9 passive. And you know what? Last year, because I've worked so many jobs, I took 3 different 401k accounts that I had amassed over the years. And I've always had the mindset, whereas save. I got my salary X, and I'm putting 30 to 35% of my salary away. And I got all these 401k sitting out these ecosystems with these different custodians. I'm like, hell, let me bring it to a main custodian that can give me the freedom to do what I want to do. And I started passively investing with folks who, trust, right? And man, you may see me on social media talking, but I love tax time. Oh, I love tax time. Because right now,
last few years.
Waiting on 2 more K1s, and I can't wait to do my taxes, right? And I got other friends who they're cringing. Well, I was like, well, you need to come talk to me, right? I mean, let's have a discussion and kind of tell you maybe what you should be thinking about to improve your tax situation. And
people will say, Merv, what are you talking about?
And
we're like, come on, let's set up a call. Let's talk about what this K1 means. Let's talk about what it does for your taxes. It's real.
And you know what, guys? One other
there's a question, honey.
Oh, there's a question. I'm sorry. So
we'd love to take a question. Looks like David has a question.
I can keep talking.
David,
My bad.
go, David.
Go ahead. David, you're there?
You gotta take yourself off mute.
Sorry, how about now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
I had mute on, like the clicker as well as a shortcut button. I had them both on. I was a few minutes late, so you may have said earlier, but either way, Melvin, kind of resonated with what you just said about 401ks. So thanks for sharing that. I'm very interested in learning more about that. Maybe it's a separate conversation. My situation is, well, let me rephrase that. I'm not in a situation. I've been blessed to have a fruitful career. However, like what you both just mentioned, I'm in the position where I worked many, many hours. I'm on day 2. I'm actually a hospital administrator, and I've got a really cool promotion. So I'm a CEO of a hospital and market president over 2 hospitals, and it's day 2. And I've been doing this for several years. And over the years, I've built up a 401k, which is good. I've got multiple 401ks like you. And And I was just talking to my very good new and very good friend Jimmy, who's on the call, who invited me to this. Hey, Jimmy. Thanks, Jimmy. And I'm interested in learning more from you, Melvin. As you said, I'm a constant learner. I want to know how I can do a better job of investing. Maybe I'll rephrase my 401k to make it grow, not only grow more aggressive, but to do it in a way where I'll get better returns, something that's also stable. The different intricacies there, but I was literally talking to my wife about this over the weekend and chatting about 401ks. And I did subscribe to the typical save, save, save. Now I want to do it differently, right? We have two kids and I don't just want to save. I want my savings to grow, not only passively and actively. So long story of saying, Melvin, if you're interested, if you're open to, love to hear more about the how and thought process of how you really move your money around in the 401k, because I can learn directly from your experiences.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure. Hey, David, within the last 12 months, I had 4 different 401ks sitting out there from all the jobs I've had. You know, I've transpired through my corporate career over the years, and they were sitting there doing nothing. I didn't know what I didn't know. So
yeah, we
12
can tell you, we can teach you how to do it.
12 months ago, right? I kind of understood in terms of, your money's not making money. It's just sitting there doing nothing. And inflation, we know where that's at, right? It's a bear for everybody here on this webinar. So I decided to passively invest to try to take advantage of those tax benefits and put my dollars to work versus just sitting there.
Yeah. And another thing, David, it'd be helpful for us to talk to you. So given, how old are your kids?
Daughter is 16, our son is 13, going on 14.
Okay. So yeah, we're part of this this group called GenFire, GenFire.
Yeah.
You can join the Facebook group. And what it's basically trying to do is help educate kids as early as 7 to 19 on financial literacy so that they can pursue the dreams that they want. The guy who actually started this has 3 girls. I think they're like in their teens, 16, 18, 19. And he wants them to all be financially free by the age of 19 so that they can pursue what they want to do when they grow up, right? So one of them wants to be an artist. Well, guess what? You can be a starving artist that's sitting on the sidewalks in Paris trying to sell your paintings for $5, or you can be financially free and really do it the right way and have that freedom, right? Versus not.
Yeah.
So we'd love to talk to you more about that and kind of what we're doing with our 8-year-old. He gets a flashcard every week. He knows what SEC stands for and what it does, and so on and so forth. So we have a lot of good knowledge to share with you. So we'd be happy to exchange information.
I would love that. Thank you. I've been taking the time, as I've been learning about multifamily, only a month in, literally about a month, I think. So I did, 5 weeks ago, I had no idea what multifamily meant. Didn't even know it was a term. And I've been taking the time to educate myself and really teach as much as I can my daughter and my son. So I would love to learn what you're doing. So thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah,
awesome.
Absolutely, man. We're with our 8-year-old, right? It's a flashcard a week, and he recites it more than once a day. You know, I've already opened up an LLC with him being the kind of the face to it. Daddy's the custodian, and we want to have him. I want to make him an LP before he's 9, and he's
passive investor.
Passive investor, limited partner. Before he turns 9. So man, because all we talk about, right? Multifamily apartments, diversification, right? That's an ecosystem inside these 4 walls. So,
yeah, that's true. I mean, it's one of those that you just got to talk about it. So I was talking to a doctor I met today, and then he told me he actually owns 4 properties. So we shifted our conversation from medicine to owning these multi-family complexes. So I was like, so we're going to continue the discussion because, I'm learning more about capital raising, as you mentioned earlier. And I think, as mentioned Jimmy in another conversation, I think I had a unique niche where I've got some people who are highly educated and have good salaries and they're looking to invest and save on taxes. But anyway, okay, definitely exchange information. I appreciate it. So thank you.
Yeah, and for all those on the phone as well, people ask me, well, Jackie, how are you gonna quit your job? Aren't you gonna miss the $145,000, $150,000 that you're making? I'll tell you what, guys. I said the K1s are still coming in for 2022. but we're probably going to make my salary and our tax refund this year.
Wow.
So there we go. And guess what?
Incredible.
That's
Nice
one of the
job.
benefits, right? That's not even talking about the big payout, and, you know, once the property gets improved and sold. So
Yeah.
my salary has been made.
That's
And when we get
wonderful.
the tax refund, we're actually going to post it on Facebook because people don't believe it and they
That's
don't
right.
understand it, and they can't even conceptualize in their mind why they don't know about this as an adult.
That's why, you know I seen Julie, I seen your picture kind of come across here. I mean, those testimonials that you provide from your folks, I love seeing that because I love sharing it. And, you know, folks, you know, yeah, some folks continue to hide under a rock. I don't know what it is, but just like, guys, this is real. This is real. This is real. So love the testimonials, and everyone in our ecosystem just love sharing it, because the people in my ecosystem who may not even plug into a webinar, they need to hear it.
Yeah.
And if they're not listening, I'm still gonna keep saying it. So
Yeah,
That's right.
one of the people that we talked to, they said, you know how the big thing was a few years ago, Trump only paid $750 in taxes. Well, if you would talk to one of the tax advisors that we know, they said that whoever did Trump's taxes probably made a mistake because he shouldn't have even paid $750.
Wow.
So whatever that's worth, that tells you that he invested and made how many billions and $1 million in real estate. But the system works for you if you know how to work the system, and it's legal.
Yeah.
Julie has a question.
Julie,
Hi, Julie. Nice to see you.
Hey, I just want to say hi. And obviously, I love you guys. And you're always spreading the love on our page. And we're so grateful for that. And love you, Sergio and Jonathan, and all of you. I'm a regular on Tuesday nights. But I just wanted to let you know, yeah, like the tax thing is so real. I don't think a lot of people really realized. It's even our investors were like, you know, they were new to multifamily. So I think they were like, oh, that's a great, you know, idea, but I don't think they really thought that it would come to fruition. And this past month, some of them have filed extensions, but you know, the tax deadline, we had over $1.3 million in tax savings, like from our investors. And they were like blowing up my phone that week, right? They were like, oh my God, like this is real. This shit is real. And I was like, yeah, like I was so excited for them that like really my heart felt super blessed that we were able to have that for them. You know what I mean? Like just, I thought about, like someone wrote me, hey, you know, we were able to avoid this tax bill, and now we're taking our kids to Hawaii. And I'm so, if you know me, my whole thing is like, you know, be with your kids, enjoy your life, have return on life. We have 4 kids. You know, it's crazy. But we travel all over the world. And one of our family goals, you probably all heard it, whoever's on here tonight, but is to travel all the continents with the kids. And I think we talked about that, Melvin and Jackie. And so this is our last year that we will finish our continent tour. And so it's just amazing, right? Like you save someone $10,000 and now they're taking their kids to Aulani. And for me, that's just so heartwarming, right? So it's not only just the return on money, like we talk a lot about return on investment, but it's such a return on life. Like it is truly for our investors, for our people, and for ourselves, right? It's just, I think we have to think outside of the financial part. Like y'all were saying, you know, it's so important to connect with your investors and help them get their dreams and goals satisfied. And that might not just be money, right? That might just be freedom. That might be vacationing with their kids. So anyways, I just thought I'd say hi, and I love you both. And thank you for coming on tonight.
Nice to
And
see you,
yeah,
good to
Julie.
see you.
yeah.
But we're probably
All right. We got,
we're probably not wasting, but we're probably out at time, aren't we?
Let the
no, you
moderator
guys
tell
are
me.
good. No,
Nah,
Kind of
we're
took
good.
over, Sergio.
you are
Nah, we're
rendering a
good.
lot of value for sure.
I'll keep talking.
Jonathan, you got a question?
Yes. And thank you, Julie, for sharing that. And again, Melvin and Jackie, thank you so much for being here and provide this much value for people. But I have a question related to, I know you guys have a podcast, right? So I know you guys have a podcast. So I just want to ask this question because as you guys know, we run this call and we start focusing, you know, and provide value to people. So my question is just straightforward. Why did you guys start to create a podcast? I mean, probably some people are like, okay, why people are creating podcasts? Why you guys are creating community? Why you guys are providing value? So that's basically my question.
Sure. So the name of our podcast is called Get Diversified, right? And we came up with the name because we're a diversified family. And we also believe in diversifying your investments, with it being apartment buildings or storage units or different kind of investments to really balance out your investment. So when something's up, other things may be down, but at the end of the day, you're going to come out and come out on top. So one of the reasons that we started the podcast is because we want people to see us. We want people to see us interact. We want you to know us. And to believe it or not, Julie, I met her for the first time not too long ago, but I felt like I knew her because I'm following her on Facebook. So we want people to feel like they know us, know a little bit about our backstory, know a little bit about what our knowledge is. So we wanted to put a podcast together so that we can show all of our listeners that subscribe to it that we know other folks and that we're continuing to learn and want to share that love with our viewers.
Yeah. 100% agree. Yeah, it's get diversified. I mean, it's simple. I mean, and I tell people, well, how'd you get that? Well, I'm my wife, we're a diversified couple, right? And
Yes.
we're diversifying our investments.
I have hair, he doesn't.
So it has a nice niche to it. But I mean, man, it's about educating individuals. For myself, keep getting knowledge, keep getting educating myself, educating ourselves as a team, meeting wonderful individuals like folks we're chatting with on this call. And man,
yeah, and it's about paying it forward too. So that's wonderful. You guys are doing well, and you want others to succeed as well. And this is a team sport, right?
Yeah.
And so
100%.
that's incredible. Thank you, Eduardo and Jenny.
Hey, thank you for calling on us. Hey, yeah, we had a question for you guys. We're in a similar situation, kind of like you guys told your story in the beginning with the business that maybe wasn't doing so good. So our business it's okay, but it's not great. But real estate has always kind of been really good to us. So at what point do you think it's time to make the jump? Like what things that you guys have in place to make the jump, to go all in, maybe leave that business and dedicate more time to multifamily real estate?
Well, I can start off.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to have enough money to live, right?
Yeah.
And to put whatever other money into your investments, right? In order to kind of quit your corporate job or to, shut down your particular business. So that's my initial thought. Dear, what do you have to say?
Yeah. I would say make sure the house and the bank is in order, right? I mean, we were bleeding money, guys, bleeding money. All my cash flow, I didn't see any of it. It was going to the business. Luckily, I had multiple jobs. Had a 9 to 5, and I'm still teaching, so was able to live decently and comfortably while my wife was working 80 hours a week. But man, that was hard, man. All that rent and that cash flow was going into the business. That had a pit in my stomach. But we drew a line in the sand, and we got on the same page, and we was like, this is what we're gonna do, and we followed through with the plan. And I was ready to bear any consequences that came about. Right, bankruptcy was in the discussion multiple times with multiple different attorneys.
Yeah.
And we figured out a way. So, I mean, we're blessed because, I mean, had it been on a worse situation, who knows where we'd be right now? I mean, you just don't know.
So have your finances in order. And the one other thing that, I didn't share, but should share because it's important is while we were going through the lawsuits associated and the arbitration associated with closing our business, I felt like I was having a heart attack and rushed myself to the hospital. Okay. So nothing is worth that. And my husband turned to me and said, I'm not going to lose my wife.
It ain't worth it.
Top of this business. So keeping that in mind, as well as to the level of stress that you're enduring because of your business or the fact that, you're not making what you want or you're working a ton of hours, take that into consideration as well, because it's not worth losing your spouse over. So that's another bit of advice. Another thing that happened to me that I also want to share is, while I was working, 16 hours a day, I fell asleep at the wheel a block away from home.
Wow.
And luckily there was no oncoming cars right in Dallas off of 75. And I woke up.
Yeah.
But, I think you need to weigh all of those things, the stress level, making sure your finances are in order, and, you know, believe and move forward, make a plan.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, yeah, the stress is huge. That's a factor that sometimes we forget. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so would you say that if you have enough passive income to live, then you don't need to waste your time with these other things? Maybe pull the trigger.
I mean, if you know, if it's labor intent, I mean, you know your limits, man, in terms of, you know, if your business is, you know, it's not that labor intensive and it's doing well, you may want to consider keeping it. I mean, everyone's decision is different, but I know for a fact what we were in and her working 78 hours a week with no pay, just a bunch of BS, man. So it's just like, I swallowed my pride and just like, nah, we need to stop this bleeding, and let's and you know, we planned what was it, 10 months of planning to close that December that Saturday in December. So yes, we were planning for months. Here's the game plan. Here's how we're gonna do it. Here's how it's gonna go down. And it went down, and we came out okay. So all good.
So thank you guys. Thank you for sharing.
All good. Yeah.
No, thank you, Melvin and Jackie, for just keeping it real with, hey, if you're deciding to quit your job, like you first have to have a plan, right? You just don't quit your job.
You still need to pay your rent or your house note.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you still got to live. So, but it's great that you mentioned, hey, it took us months to like reorganize ourselves and come up with a plan so that we can say, hey, this is how we're going to move forward. You know, so we truly appreciate that. And I posted their podcast on the chat. Please follow them. I'm going to ask you at the end, where could we find you in the social media so we can post it as well. But really quick, I know everything has been going so amazing for you guys, and you're learning so much now. Can we kind of just highlight some of the challenges that multifamily investment can come across, and how can you kind of circumvent or navigate those?
Yeah,
you can speak.
So given that, you know, we're in 2 active deals and we're in the other ones are passive. So for those of you on the phone, that just means you hand your money over and you trust the people that are operating the apartment complex and hope that they'll make the right decisions. We've had some bad news, guys. So we've had some bad news on a few of our passive deals. Maybe we got in them too soon. Maybe we really didn't know and trust these folks. But to do a capital call 6 months after a property is purchased and tell your investors they need more money.
Excuse my friend, that's bullshit. But yeah, that's yeah.
So, you know,
I think we're in the same deal.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think, you know, as you continue on with your, you know, with your learning, understanding how to look at a deal, understanding your operators, knowing about them, knowing about, hey, do they love their husband? Do they love their kid? Do they go out and do things as a family? Because guess what? If Jackie's not happy and I'm a decision maker on this building and our marriage is not good, guess what? That's going to bleed down not to you as an investor.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things. So nothing catastrophic has happened yet with any of our investments, except for this one particular capital call. So we're hoping that's going to continue, but we know in reality that there may be some that aren't going to turn out as rosy as we think they are. But I think that's part of investing and taking the risks, right? But I think if everybody takes a objective look at what they're investing in, and the know, like, and trust, guys, know who your operators are, know who the ones are that are making those key decisions on when to sell, how to improve the property, what's really going to add value. That all matters. And you can't ask those questions if you don't know, right? So listening to these podcasts, to our podcast, and to, you know, meetings like this, where Sergio and Jonathan are putting on, that's how you're going to learn to be better passive investors or even active investors.
That's right. And what I get from here is vetting your potential partners, vetting them. Because every investment has risks, right? And so you have to do your due diligence and your homework. This is not something that you just go head on, right? And so that's very important. Thank you for pointing that out and being so transparent about it. Gabrielle Walker, you have a question?
Hey, thank you so much, Jackie and Melvin. And my question to you is, if you had $100,000, how would you consider for us who's investor to invest it?
You want me to give my 2 cents?
I'll let her give her 2 cents, and I'll give my 2 cents, and you
See,
get a different perspective probably every time.
That's why I married him, guys.
Yeah.
So I would put that in, 2 or 3 deals, diversify that among 2 or 3 apartment deals, right? So that all your eggs are not in one basket, and maybe one's gonna overperform, one's gonna perform at what was projected, and one may underperform, or they may all be rock stars. But I would diversify that 100,000 into 2 or 3 different deals with operators that like, and most importantly, trust.
Yep.
You agree, honey?
Yeah, I
Okay.
agree 100%. Yep, diversification. And well, first of all, know your situation, right? If you got $100,000,
Do you need that to live?
do you need it to live? Understand that. Understand the back of your house, right? And if you have it available to go ahead and invest, critically evaluate each and every deal, right? Know your target points, know your parameters in terms of, what, I won't invest in this unless it's this threshold. When we first started, we didn't have those thresholds. So now we've kind of been through a lot of deals. Now I kind of know IRR I need to be at, and we're like, if it's not projected to be that, and if we don't know the people, keep it moving. So put some parameters in place about your investment criteria, which is key, and slowly and carefully allocate your funds accordingly.
Absolutely. I love the keyword criteria.
Yeah.
Have your criteria and be in tribes such as this one with the cash flow empire, where you're learning and you can lean into other people that can provide you some guidance, So thank you so much for that. I know we're at the top of the hour. And so what I really want to ask you guys, no, this is great. This has been so much value. Thank you so much. You guys are truly a power couple for sure. Can you give us, before we go into our breakout rooms, 3 resources or takeaways that you would like to leave the audience with? It could be advice, it could be resources, books, podcasts, whatever.
I'll start.
Okay, dear.
If you got a spouse, or if you have a spouse, significant other, get 100% buy-in and alignment with your spouse before you move forward.
Yes.
100%. I mean, please do that. And yeah, do that.
I would say secondly, have a coach or somebody that you really trust. So Gabrielle, as you're thinking about these investments or where to put your $100,000, reach out, ask somebody, right? We'll give you your honest opinion, and you may have 3 different opinions, but you're gonna at least get the advice of some folks that have been through this before. So that would be the second. What's the third one, hon?
The third one, I would say, every day there's an ecosystem group you can plug into where webinar to get education, even if you're conservative with your dollars. Sunday to Saturday, there's a webinar to plug into.
That's right.
Some days there's, well, matter of fact, tonight, I mean, there's 3 different webinars, that we know of at various times. So every day there's an aspect for you to get education. Take advantage of it.
That's right. So there's no excuse, right? No excuse.
Like ET say, no excuse.
That's right.
Yeah.
So guys, where can we find you at?
Well, a bunch of places. We are on social media: Facebook, Melvin Landry, Jacqueline Landry. You can follow us. We have we have Facebook and we have LinkedIn. More Land Equity Capital. Now, how we got More Land was pretty unique. My wife's maiden name is Morelli, so More. My last name is Landry, LAN. More Land Equity Capital. Voila, pretty simple. So morelandequity.com. You can find us there as well. No dash. Just morelandequity.com. Go to YouTube, type in Get Diversified. I'm not that hard to find, folks. You'll see me. You'll see me and my wife.
You'll see the shiny
You'll
head.
see the shiny bald head on YouTube, Get Diversified podcasts, and LinkedIn, Facebook. And need a phone number, you can text me anytime. I'm up probably working late nights as well. So happy to have a discussion, share some knowledge, bounce some ideas, and talk shop.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And we'll definitely render all of those resources out to our audience. Thank you so much, Melvin and Jackie. I mean, definitely, we truly appreciate you guys' journey, your thoughts, you know, your obstacles and everything that you guys have been through. It has been a whirlwind of emotions and a roller coaster and a journey for sure.
Yeah.
And
it has been, and I mean, we appreciate being on the show. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're still on top. You're still on top, and you're moving forward, and that's what's important.
That's all you can do, and take care of your health first and foremost.
Exactly.
Without that, nothing else matters.
Health is wealth, right?
Yeah.
So
Faith, family, and investing.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, family and investing for sure.
Nice.
Guys, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
We
Appreciate
appreciate it.
And before we go out to the breakout rooms, we do want to share some incredible news, guys. I mean, we finally are doing our very first conference in Dallas this Friday, the 19th. There's a few people on this call that will be attending, and it's in Dallas. And it'll be hosted with us, me, Jonathan, Tony, Jana, and Sean Ricehouse. Like I said, some of the people on the call will be going already. We're limited to 40 people, and I think we're more than halfway there, John. If correct me if I'm wrong, we got quite a lot of individuals who are joining online via Zoom, but we also have more than half subscribed that are going in person. So it's gonna be awesome. We're gonna just really go and hang out, network, and do bus tours, and just you get to meet the team. You get to meet a lot of the team who we're closing deal with, who we're partnering up with.
Podcast.
All right, guys, we have a multifamily mastermind coming up here in Dallas. We want to make sure that you get your ticket. It is May the 19th, 9 to 2. We're literally going to be going over content, and then we have a bus tour as well they can add on.
We have a bus tour. We're going to be visiting properties that are under contract, that are owned. We are so excited about that because you're going to get your own boots on the ground, get to touch, get to see, get to experience what it's like to see and feel a property from a due diligence walkthrough perspective. So we cannot wait for you to join us. And that bus tour is from 2:30 until 4:30 following the mastermind event.
And then we're going to get together. We're going to also network. We want to make sure that you have all the components of multifamily investing from startup all the way to GPing deals, literally being able to invest money, to be able to find deals and have other partners as well. Lunch is included. Make sure you sign up, hit the link, and join us here in Dallas, May 19th on Friday. We can't wait to see you there.
Awesome.
All right, guys, we have.
Jonathan beat me to the punch. I guess I didn't have to explain too much, but we'll be posting the link. It's going to be a great time, guys. It's going to be amazing just to really get to know us even more on a personal level. And we get to hang out, walk some properties. And I mean, it's in Dallas. Dallas is an amazing market. Jonathan went ahead and posted the link below in the chat if you're interested. Like I said, I know a lot of you guys signed up last week. It is the week of. If you know, come out, make that call in, guys. I mean, this is your future. You know, there's this old saying, you know, that I like, you know, and don't quote it. I'm not going to say it exactly how it is, but you know, it's kind of sad to say that these people are really, really quick to replace you if something were ever to happen to you in 24 hours. So, you know, maybe using 1 sick day, 2 sick days to come out and you know, invest into your future would be a great idea. You know, it wouldn't hurt anybody. So can't wait to see you guys out there and can't wait to see you guys out there. And there is a free event on the 18th. So Thursday we have our monthly Dallas meetups. It's in downtown Dallas, and we're overbooked on that one. And you can keep coming. You can keep registering. There's still time and people to register. 2 sick days. But yeah, you can still register for Thursday. A lot of the people who are flying in are coming Thursday. And then we're going to do the event Friday. So that's a double whammy was what I like to call. You get to knock 2 birds with 1 stone this weekend here in Dallas. So yeah, can't wait to see everybody. And I guess, John, did I miss anything?
No, man, that's I can't wait to see you guys here. That's gonna be amazing. There is a couple properties that are already, we're part of the team in there and everything. But I just want to say thank you for Melvin and Jackie for being here to provide this much value to everybody. I was looking forward for this call, man. I knew it's gonna be a fun night, so I hope that everybody, had fun tonight. But do you have any final words, Melvin or Jackie, before we stop the recording?
Yeah.
Just get investing, get educated,
Get diversified.
get diversified.
Get diversified, guys.
Let's go, guys. Perfect. Okay, thank you, everybody. So I'll see you guys next week.